Welcome to this feedback video for assignments 9 and 10. We received 15 submissions with very interesting circular scenarios and takeaways. As always, we will present you an overview of the results. We'll address some examples more in depth, as well as the questions that you've asked. And we'll end with the key takeaways and the upcoming assignment, the last assignment already. So first, an overview. As you can see, many different strategies have been explored, and some of you have even combined different strategies. Great work. One tip though is, please consider the profitability in advance. You can imagine that when combining different strategies, the company has to set up recovery lines for each of them, so that may be extra costly. Whatever is the best alternative really depends on your specific case. What is always useful is to start looking at the amount of value that is lost in the linear scenario. And Fabian commented on this. He's saying, it is striking how much value is simply destroyed in the linear economic model. Very well visible in the clear flow diagram. This could also serve as a motivation for the manufacturer. And indeed, this is one of these numbers that you can use to explain why it can be important and profitable to transition to a circular economic model. Next up, Ewald was surprised about his findings. So sometimes the results are what you expect, but not always. In his case of the coffee grinder, the remanufacturing scenario had very high KPIs, which was very surprising to him when modeling it. Next up, Douglas mentions the importance of the collection rate. He says, this one emphasizes that most of the circular life cycle options rely entirely on the ability to collect products after use. And of course, this is true both for refurbishment, remanufacturing, and even recycling. You first need to get hold of the products so you can loop them back into the economic system. Remco used this very nicely to analyze two different scenarios, one for their business-to-business clients and one for their consumer market segment, with different collection rates, so you can see what the difference is. Well done. Next up, Janneke mentions we need to cooperate with clients and architects because we make custom designs. And you address an important point. Fitting circular designs in today's economy frequently requires you to start partnering with your clients and with your suppliers because many things need to change in the system. She says that introducing refurbishment or remanufacturing loops could make more improvement than the recycling scenarios she analyzed, but it really needs changes in the design. As a tip, what I can give you is that the building sector is very advanced already in circular design. So I'm sure there are clients as well as architects that are much looking forward to facade elements that both combine the high aesthetic aspects of your solutions combined with circularity. Nice observation. Next up, Remco showed the budget that he has available for remanufacturing. And many of you had questions about this. Does the tool already include the costs for remanufacturing in this case? As you can imagine, that's very specific for your case. And it differs a lot between products. For instance, collection cost depends on where you ship the products. And the manufacturing process will also influence the costs for remanufacturing. However, as you can see in this example, Remco has about 300,000 euros available in the remanufacturing scenario. You can see this as a budget that you can use. Then what to do next, of course, is to calculate within your company if this is sufficient amount of money to warrant a remanufacturing scenario, if it's profitable or not. So the tool is very useful in that sense. to get a high-level indication very quickly on the possible potential. And sometimes the tool will show you it's not there. So for instance, this example of Galia, she said a recycling business model for the casing, housing, shell has very little value capture overall. So that's also what the tool can show you, that it's not worth investigating that specific strategy further, but rather you focus on one of the other potential strategies. A final question that we will answer today is about Wieke. She asked about environmental impact. She has calculated several scenarios and is curious, is this also viable from an ecological point of view? Good point. What you assess in the circularity calculator and in an LCA, life cycle assessment, are not the same. They're two different things. I can spend an entire video discussing this point, and if you like it, we can address it more in the final webinar, but I will try to keep it short here. In the circularity calculator, you assess the extent to which the product fits in a circular economy, ensuring that resources do not end up as waste. And you can calculate how much resources are needed in the linear compared to the circular scenario. In LCA software, on the other hand, you measure the environmental impacts of your solution in today's relatively linear economy. And if you want to know how environmentally friendly your circular solution is, I would always advise you to model this with a QuickScan LCA. And you can use the data you obtained in the circularity calculator as input for that analysis. I hope that makes it clear. Oh yeah, as a tip, the hotspot mapping already gives you an idea of the environmental hotspots of the materials. And these are some of the tools you can do to use a QuickScan LCA. Now the key takeaways. First of all, a circular system starts with a collection of products at a high quality level. This may require a different business model, as some of you have already observed, and that, of course, can have a huge impact on your business. Next, you can use the outcomes of the different scenarios to help underpin your decision making. We've seen very nice examples of that already in this video and on the Miro board, so I would always suggest you to use that. And finally, you can realize circularity and potential value capture in each of the strategies, and it depends on your case which one seems most profitable. Typically, recycling gives lower potential value capture, as you can see if you compare the Value Hill examples that we gave you in one of the first videos of this episode. So these were the main takeaways for this week. Upcoming is the reflection, assignment number 11, where you reflect and combine all of your findings. If you're still behind with the previous examples, you can still upload them together with assignment number 11. This is also the final deadline, so make sure to meet that one. And then last but not least, December 14th, Wednesday, we have our final webinar. If you have specific topics you would like us to address and discuss with you in the webinar, you can add these to the discussion forum of assignment number 11. Good luck with the final assignment.